pleasant good night to the Chairman and Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Central, the Honorable Simon Dinobriga, our party chairman, was that for Simon? Oh. The party chairman and Member of Parliament for Diego Martin Northeast, and the Minister of Finance, the Honorable Colm Imbert. Our esteemed political leader, the Honorable Keith Christopher Rowley. Cabinet colleagues, too numerous to mention, one by one, but to all of my cabinet colleagues, to party officers, we have Deputy Political Leader Joan Williams with us in Diego Martin. And to all the party faithful, Chairman of the Regional Corporation, Mr. Jack. To all the party faithful, tonight is a great night in Diego Martin. We are out of the virtual meetings and we are now face to face with the population of Trinidad and Tobago. And tonight we will send a strong signal to all those under the sound of this meeting that the PNM is alive and well in Diego Martin. The PNM is alive and well in Port of Spain. The PNM is alive and well in Beetham, in Bachelor Street, in Laventille, in Tunapuna, in San Fernando, in Santa Cruz, all over Trinidad and Tobago. The Balize is alive and blooming. They could walk how much they want, they could talk how much they want, but let them know that the party of Eric Williams, the party of George Chambers, the party of Patrick Manning, the party of Keith Christopher Rowley is alive and well and here to govern Trinidad and Tobago. And so, ladies and gentlemen, it gives me great pleasure to address you and to address our young people, particularly those who may not buy a newspaper, who may not look at the news, but somehow because we are on social media, they might be listening to this meeting tonight. And I want to speak to each and every one of them. And I want to say to them that this government, led by this Prime Minister, saw it fit to establish a Ministry of Youth Development and National Service, specifically designed to treat with the development of our young people throughout this country. The opening batsman was our present Minister of National Security, the Honorable Fitzgerald Hines. And after he had completed his innings, the captain of the team said, "Let us welcome the Honorable Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago."
Remember the days of totes in water, anytime that you have to bid. Or when people pass and they see you, oh my Lord, used to feel that shame. Wondering if this lasts forever, wondering when you will feel proud. If it's one thing that he didn't tell me, there is sunrise after each cloud. I say, even though the road is long, no matter what come and go.
And ladies and gentlemen, I was just saying that after my colleague from Laventille West completed his innings, the captain of the team called upon me to give of service in this very critical ministry. And what is this ministry designed to do? The government, recognizing that we had to pay close attention to the development of our young people, all 550,000 young persons between the ages of 10 to 35 years. This ministry is dedicated to advancing their development. The Ministry of Youth is guided by the Vision 2030 National Development Strategy and the Roadmap to Recovery Report, and in addition, the Community Recovery Report and the National Youth Policy. Recall that very early in the term of this government, we approved a National Youth Policy for the period 2020 to 2025. And coming out of that decision, ladies and gentlemen, the ministry set about to set the foundation for the generation of our future leaders, to allow them to experience positive transformation and to take this 40% of our population and make sure that a whole of government approach involving the Ministry of Education, involving the Ministry of Trade and Industry. You realize that the Ministry of Trade and Industry recently announced a program of apprenticeship for the non-energy sector, the marketing sector, the Ministry of National Security, the Ministry of Digitization. And so all of these ministries coming together to make sure that our young people receive the requisite training and development that they require. It was the founding father of our nation who said that the future of the nation lies in the book bags of our children. And therefore, it is critical that we view our young people as co-creators of our sustainable development and of our future. In doing that, we will make sure that they're equipped with the necessary skills to not only enter the job market, but also to become young and budding entrepreneurs. And so, Cabinet, in consideration of that development, appointed two committees. One committee chaired by former Education Minister Anthony Garcia to look at the revitalization of the youth development centers and the youth development and apprenticeship centers, formerly called youth camps. And what a stir of excitement that created. The committee submitted its report 2 weeks ago, and at this week's cabinet meeting, that report will come up for consideration. In considering the youth development centers, of which we currently have 6, one at St. James, one at Malik, one at California, one at Los Bajos, one at Laventille, one at Bachelor Street. And in considering the work that we intend to execute through these community-based centers and the successes that we have had from them so far, we intended and we plan to collaborate with existing agencies to bring training programs closer to the target group, so that YTEP, MIC, NESC, Kariri, several agencies coming out from under the Ministry of Education, instead of persons from the communities I just mentioned having to go to those centers outside of their geographic location, they can now have training available to them right on their doorsteps. And if you think that your community was left out from the 6 that I mentioned earlier, the government in a 3-year program is determined to roll out 14 new centers throughout Trinidad and Tobago. We are looking particularly at a group of young persons referred to by the UN as NEET, that is to say N-E-E-T, not in employment, not in education, not in employment, or not in any formal training. And therefore, as you see these young persons, not directed on a part of development, we are going to bring that training to you. Ladies and gentlemen, those centers are non-residential. But then there's another category of persons we're talking about who would require, because of various circumstances, that additional support. And that is where the youth apprenticeship centers come in. Formerly called youth camps, these centers will cater for two age categories, 15 to 18, and 19 to 25. Existing centers are Chatham, Presto, El Dorado for girls. Only this morning, I'm pleased to say and announce to this meeting that we turned the sod at the Presto Youth Apprenticeship Center to commence the refurbishment and modernization of that facility. On the 26th of this month, we will turn the sod in Chatham to start the works on that facility for the persons of South Trinidad. Only 2 weeks ago, in Diego Martin, right here in your hometown, the chairman of the corporation was present. We kick-started the works at the St. Michael Home for Boys. That is your government at work. This is not about old talk. This is about making sure we take our youth seriously. This is not about going and sit on the block to try to encourage boys in activities that do not add to their personal and professional development. This is about taking their lives into their own hands, with the government working along with them to ensure that they achieve their fullest potential. We're not about listening to detractors. We will not be distracted at all. We will be committed, we will be dedicated, and we will be focused. And for those who feel that they can distract us, we will say, as the psalmist David said, "Fret not thyself because of evildoers, neither be thou envious against the workers of iniquity, for they shall soon be cut down like the grass and wither as the green herb." Let them put that in their pipe and smoke it. What will the government do in terms of doing things differently? You know, that was a famous saying of our former political leader. The aim of the restructured curriculum is to transform and optimize these youth development and apprenticeship centers. I did not tell you earlier, you thought it was only those 3 locations. You are from Diego Martin, and you're wondering, where is our youth development center going to be? In Chagaramas, we will remodel and repurpose the Chagaramas Convention Center as a youth development and apprenticeship center, catering for 2 age categories, both categories that I mentioned before, 15 to 18 and 19 to 25. And for those of you in East Trinidad, you think we forgot you. We have not. We will construct a state-of-the-art flagship modern facility to accommodate 250 cadets at Wallafield, to cater for those young persons in East Trinidad from Sandy Grande, Arima, La Hoqueta, Lopino Bonner West, Aruca, Tonapuna. None will be left behind. A new curriculum designed to include all the modern industries, coding, computer programming, computer repairs. Our young people will be trained in those disciplines, technical vocational learning, to make sure that we have them ready for the uptake into the various industries. And then we get to agriculture. And our former Minister of Agriculture will tell you how much I harassed and pestered him. And the current minister will tell you that I've already started to do the same to him. We were able to introduce and to launch applications for the Youth Agricultural Homestead Program. It is a program that has the UNC ANSI. All of a sudden, they're talking about land, 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 land. They're uncomfortable about this program because it is a unique program, whereas in the past, the government would have had several training programs in agriculture. This program is not only designed to offer a 2-year training program, one at UTT and the other on the said lands that will be allocated to each participant upon successful completion of their first year. It is a program designed to provide the land for them to practice the agriculture that they love so much. A 2-acre homestead parcel. And you know what? More good news. You get a $20,000 grant for startups. We intend to launch this program in South Trinidad, in Chatham. I see our Member of Parliament for San Fernando West applauding that initiative. And therefore, we will take idle state lands of the former Petrotrin at Chatham Dairy Farm, at Kendall Dairy Farm in Palo Seco, at La Gloria Estate, and at Faizabad Field Road, and that will be the initial phase 1 of the YAP program. Ladies and gentlemen, our applications went out on the 1st of March for 200 participants, and I'm pleased to report to you that we have received over 1,400 applications for this program. In addition to the 2-acre parcels, a 5-acre site will be developed to allow for a model farm to be operated by a non-government organization to afford the participants of the program best practice as they follow the examples of those who have been good at this for a long time. A master farmer on each site. Each site will have a monitoring evaluation unit to make sure that the farmers stick to what the land was allocated to them for. So you're not going to see any garage going up. It is going to be designed for farming. You will have all the support to make sure that you have a viable agricultural program. And then we move to the question of our national service program. And let me have some water. Not spiked at all. Our national service program will focus on pride, patriotism, volunteerism, to make sure that we work along with our defense force to run a voluntary national service program. We'll expand the facility at Mausikas Training College in the east, and we will convert the former beach camp in Petrotrin in Palo Seco to another national service complex. This program will be run in conjunction with the Specialized Youth Services Program of the military and will involve existing programs such as the military-led academic training program MILAT, the Civilian Conservation Corps, the military-oriented youth program of apprenticeship and reorientation MyPart, and the National Transition Homes. It will also include the St. Michael School for Boys. Ladies and gentlemen, at the completion of this modernization program, both campuses will be able to accommodate about 1,000 cadets at both locations. Over the years, we have had some difficulties in treating with transition services for young persons exiting community homes or orphan homes, as some of you would know it. I'm told we can't use that term anymore, so I will stick to community homes. Very soon, the ministry will accept the keys to the now refurbished Josephine Shaw home in Port of Spain, a transition home for young women. Cabinet has agreed and the procurement is currently underway for the expansion of the St. Madeleine Transition Home for Boys. In addition, the government program to expand the capacity for young ladies in terms of transition arrangements involves the Cabinet approving the refurbishment and upgrade of facilities at Sevilla in Couva to function as an additional transition home for girls. And at the beach camp facility of the National Service Program, another transition home for boys will be established at that location. I'm sure people in South Trinidad are very happy for all these developments taking place in the Southland. In addition, the government will construct a modern farm school in the community of Moruga. And this modern fit-for-purpose curriculum will expose students to a range of techniques in modern agriculture. This facility, when completed, will accommodate 150 students. In terms of entrepreneurship, we will construct a youth business park in conjunction with the Ministry of Industry, Trade and Industry, and afford young persons wanting to get into areas of agro-processing and light manufacturing an opportunity to be able to practice their trade. We will as well introduce, with NEDCO being the operator of this facility, youth entrepreneurship hubs at different locations to afford young entrepreneurs the opportunity to ply their trade. In conjunction with Kariri, the ministry will work to expand the youth business incubator currently in operation at that location. Program after program after program, plans coming out from your government to make sure that our young people are equipped for the future. And let me just say, ladies and gentlemen, as I prepare to close, that we have taken careful note about the sustainability of these programs because some of them have been tried before and proven to be very successful. And then a change of government came about and the UNC shut them down because they did not understand it, or they chose not to understand it, or they pretended not to understand what these programs were designed for. And then years after, we are reaping what they sow. When our young people, without direction, without support, without that fallback position, are now, many of them, unable to enter the workforce in a way that they should be. The government has approved the establishment of a National Youth Development Agency of Trinidad and Tobago. And that central agency, ladies and gentlemen, that central agency will manage all of these facilities in a way that we can ensure there's a proper monitoring and evaluation, and that these agencies are properly resourced to make sure that years from today, many years from today, we will have these facilities. We are going to give legislative life to this agency, and we will make sure that we have these facilities available to our children and to our children's children in time to come. I can tell you that only last week, I traveled to Tobago, a place I love dearly, and met with the newly elected Chief Secretary and some members of the THA. And they are so excited about the programs coming out of this PNM government. I don't know if it's because the Prime Minister is from Tobago, but somehow they are in love with these programs. And they asked us whether we will consider the construction of a youth camp at Mount St. George in Tobago. And I intend to very soon take to the Cabinet for approval, ladies and gentlemen, the reintroduction and construction of a youth camp in Tobago. And when this government was elected, we were elected to serve all of Trinidad and Tobago. So in Siparia, the young people there, we are responsible for them too. In Blanchisseuse, we are responsible for them there also. In San Fernando, in Port of Spain, and in Diego Martin, the PNM government will care for all the citizens of Trinidad and Tobago. So it gives me great pleasure to have addressed you tonight. It gives me great pleasure to continue to do the work of the people, undisturbed and not detracted, but to continue steadfast by the oath of office that I took, and to give support to the Honorable Prime Minister and this PNM team as we work towards the development of Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you, ladies and gentlemen.